In a previous interview, you talked about struggling throughout the season. So what changed and how are you able to turn the page so that the end of the season went a lot better?
Lexie Hull looked like she was about to disappear from WNBA conversations completely when the 2024 season began. Remember, this was the 6th overall pick in 2022, a player who once raised trophies at Stanford and carried herself like a future star. But under former coach Christy Sides, she was buried on the bench, watching others leapfrog her in the rotation. Fans whispered, was Hull ever going to live up to her potential, or was she destined to be remembered as another draft bust? Collecting dust?
So you have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up. What was it like growing up in that family dynamic?
Well, we have a super competitive family, and having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hands at an early age, but my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So yeah, we grew up, my sister and I, playing a little bit of everything.
Then came the shockwave. Caitlin Clark, a generational talent whose arrival didn't just tweak the Fever's roster, it reinvented the team's entire identity. Her style was pure electricity. She didn't just put points on the board, she bent defenses like gravity. The moment Clark joined Indiana, the offense had rhythm, the chemistry had spark, and every player's trajectory changed. For Lexie Hull, this wasn't just a new teammate, it was a lifeline. Show some love for Lexie in the comments below by writing Lexie Show. Let's get into it.
I think it was important to get to know her off the court because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of teams.
Hull recently spoke in interviews with She's for Sports and the Dunker Spot, and she didn't hold back. She revealed what truly shifted in that locker room, how Clark's arrival flipped her career path, and what it says about Indiana's evolution from a stumbling franchise to one of basketball's most exciting stories. This isn't just about one player finding redemption, it's about leadership, revival, and a culture shift shaping the Fever's future.
She's been called the clutch player by WNBA fans, and she was drafted to the W in 2022 with the Indiana Fever in the first round as the 6th pick. I'm talking about professional basketball player Lexie Hull.
The early stretch of 2024 was brutal for Hull. Despite her decorated college resume and draft status, she couldn't crack the regular rotation. Players like Katie Lou Samuelson and Christy Wallace, with less upside, were taking her minutes, while Hull sat on the sideline draped in a
At the beginning of the season, my playing time definitely looked different than it did at the end. So trusting that, I was staying ready, putting in the work so that when I did get the minutes out on the court, that I could take full advantage of them. So I was just really proud of myself for trusting the process and staying the course.
That sting cut deep. Going from Stanford star to bench warmer in Indiana was as much a mental challenge as any physical hurdle she had faced.
The basketball part of the transition is really tough. Everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college teams, definitely the best player likely from their high school team. So it's just this mishmash of the best basketball players, and then you're playing against people that have been there for years and years.
Meanwhile, the team itself was spiraling. The Fever stumbled to a 1-8 start, a skid so dismal it left fans in Indianapolis desperate for answers, but those answers never came.
We were just sick that we had lost so many games, and also feeling like we were better than that.
Headlines piled up with criticism, poor rotations, shaky defense, zero chemistry. Everyone in the locker room felt the weight, and Hull, stuck on the bench, had to fight her own doubts as the entire season looked like it was sinking.
Part of my role is just getting to the open spots, and we have such a good offense that people find the open person. So to be that open person, you get excited. You get excited for the opportunity to shoot and score and be part of the momentum.
But Hull refused to fold. She doubled down on the grind, sharpening her cuts, fine-tuning her jumper, and staying ready for any sliver of opportunity. Through it all, she leaned on her teammates' encouragement, players who still saw her potential even when the box scores didn't. That belief became her fuel.
What is it like playing off of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston?
I mean, they make my job really easy, right? It's awesome. And it's really cool to see all of them just grow, not only from this year, but playing 3 years with Kelsey, 2 years with Aaliyah. They're so impressive.
Then Caitlin Clark arrived and everything flipped. The moment she entered the locker room, it felt like the lights came back on. Practices had energy again, arenas filled with fans, and suddenly Indiana wasn't a joke anymore. It was the hottest ticket in the league. Clark brought that edge, that relentless drive to compete, and she made sure everyone else rose to match it.
And I think it's really fun because they garner so much attention, obviously, from the other team's defense. So then it allows the other players, me included, to make cuts, make reads, and they're really good at finding, those openings and giving the ball up when it's needed and finding the better shot. So it's really fun, and I feel really lucky to get to play with them.
As Hull put it with a laugh, we practice against guys, and if they're not winning, Caitlin will do whatever it takes to keep them competing. That wasn't just energy, it was transformation.
I mean, I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. So now it's okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, I have a real opportunity to get the ball, which definitely took me a second. And I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor and she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So, it's been awesome.
What Clark added went beyond star power. It was a basketball IQ operating in fast forward. She read defenses like a veteran quarterback, threading passes into lanes teammates didn't even know existed. For Hull, that was a revelation. Suddenly, she was wide open, finding herself in scoring spots she'd never been before. She's making passes I didn't think were possible, Hull admitted. Clark's pull on defenders opened space. Her vision cut defenses apart, and the Fever's offense finally came alive.
It's so fun to be able to know that you're not just cutting to cut, knowing that you're cutting with the possibility of actually making a really cool play. So that makes it that much more worthwhile.
Clark's competitive fire spread like wildfire. Her determination infected the entire roster. Players who once doubted themselves suddenly believed they could take on anyone. The rookie didn't just bring points, she brought belief, and for Hull, that was everything. Clark's maturity and leadership landed instantly, raising both morale and performance in one stroke.
She sees the game at a bigger scale, obviously with the platform that she's created for herself, and then that's transitioned to the game. It's huge. And I think for me, especially as a point guard and as someone that's delivering a lot of the passes that lead to shots, if I miss, she's definitely going to say you got the next one. I can count on her for keeping me confident and positive. So yeah, I think that shows the player that she is and the leader she is as a point guard.
And soon the results followed. The Fever began to find their rhythm, turning into a dangerous, cohesive offense. Hull admitted that basketball became so much more fun when she knew her cuts could actually turn into plays. Clark gave her that chance. She wasn't just a star, she was a game changer who altered teammates' careers in real time. But was this spark enough to turn Indiana's season? That was still the question, and the answer would unfold over the grind of the coming weeks.
It's really awesome to get to know her as well because, she's a great person, but you have all these expectations put on her, and our team has put on her, and fans have put on her. So to see her kind of be so mature in that transition, it's been really awesome, and I'm just really proud to, have her on the team, and it's been exciting.
What stood out most is that this transformation didn't happen under the bright lights, it happened in practice. Hull explained that those sessions became battles. Scrimmages turned into wars because Clark demanded it. If a play broke down, Clark forced them to fix it immediately. No excuses, no shortcuts. Her competitiveness raised the standard, and the rest of the team had to rise with her. Coaches noticed it too. Practices that once dragged suddenly carried weight. From that edge, a true identity began to form.
The Indiana Fever had a history-making year. What was that like for you to be a part of that?
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to not only play in the WNBA, but to be on a team like the Indiana Fever. I've seen so much growth, not only on the team side, how we're performing on the court, but also the growth in fans. On the road, it felt like home games. We're playing in sold-out arenas that we have not played in the last 2 years before that. So it's just really exciting.
For Hull, this turnaround was more than a team story. It was personal.
All of it comes down to trusting the process. And part of that process is making sure that the work's getting done.
Hull poured herself into mastering the details, refining her cuts, chasing consistency with her jumper. During the Olympic break, we had a full month of practice, she explained. Seeing those percentages climb gave me belief. That behind-the-scenes work turned into confidence. By the second half of the season, Hull wasn't just another bench piece. She had carved out a central role in Indiana's attack.
I think one thing that our coaches did during that break, we had a full month of practice pretty much during
the Olympic break, and they would put up every day after practice our shooting percentages from 2s and 3s during drills, during scrimmages, during everything. And I think that helped me because, some people would probably like, it's so annoying, whatever, but I personally liked it.